So January 6 public hearing number 5 was blockbuster. Donald Trump's criminal intent proved. Donald Trump's co-conspirators in Congress identified. And Donald Trump's co-conspirator at the Department of Justice, Jeffrey Clark, just had his home searched by federal authorities. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So the 5th public hearing of the January 6th House Select Committee investigating the insurrection was a showstopper. So many reveals. Now, I just want to hit a few of the top line takeaways, and I want to start with this. Donald Trump's criminal intent is no longer an open question. It has been proved. We heard first-hand witness testimony from Department of Justice officials who said something we already knew, that they had all been telling Donald Trump there was no fraud undermining the election. The election was not corrupt. It was not rigged. And today we heard the testimony of Richard Donahue, which we were expecting, because after they told the president again and again, no fraud, he said, I don't care. Quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest up to me and my Republican allies in Congress. Criminal intent proved beyond a reasonable doubt with words from Donald Trump's own mouth. The next logical question is, well, who are his criminal allies in Congress? Those Republicans that he said would do his bidding, would lie, would say the election was rigged, would continue to push the big lie on the American people. Who were they? Here's the delicious part, friends. They self-identified by asking for pardons. A pardon is an admission of guilt. I committed crime. I'd like to get away with it, so I'm going to need a presidential pardon. And today we learned who in Congress requested pardons. Louis Gohmert, Andy Biggs, Scott Perry, Paul Gosar, Mo Brooks, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz. And let me pause here, because Matt Gaetz, we learned through testimony today, asked for a cradle to the grave pardon. It's a bit of an overstatement. He asked for a blanket pardon for anything he had ever done in his life. I guess from the date of his birth through January 20th, 2021, because that would have been the last day that Donald Trump enjoyed the presidential pardon power. So Matt Gaetz asked for a blanket pardon, not just for the insurrection, but for everything he has ever done in his life. And then there was some interesting testimony about Jim Jordan and pardons. Now, in fairness, the testimony wasn't that Jim Jordan asked for a pardon, but there was testimony that Jim Jordan approached Trump administration officials after the insurrection and said, will President Trump be giving out pardons to members of Congress? Well, let's ask ourselves this question, friends. Do we really think Donald Trump gave Jim Jordan that presidential bling, the Medal of Freedom, for nothing? Stay tuned, because I am sure we're going to be hearing more about Jim Jordan in future J6 hearings. But now let's turn to the topic of Donald Trump's co-conspirator at the Department of Justice, this guy, Jeffrey Clark. This is the only lackey at the Department of Justice that Donald Trump could scrounge up to do his criminal bidding, when every other DOJ official said, no, Mr. President, there was no fraud undermining the election's results. Jeffrey Clark, an environmental lawyer, never practiced criminal law, never set foot in a courtroom to prosecute a case, never appeared in a grand jury, said, Mr. President, I'll say there was election fraud if you'll just make me the Attorney General. And you know what just happened to Jeffrey Clark? Here's a new reporting from the New York Times. Federal authorities search home of Trump Justice Department official. I love it when incriminating evidence comes together. That article begins, federal investigators carried out a pre-dawn search on Wednesday at the home of Jeffrey Clark, a former Justice Department official, in connection with the department's sprawling criminal inquiry into efforts to overturn the 2020 election, which prompted me to tweet out as soon as I saw that reporting. The investigative circle tightens. This means a federal judge concluded there is probable cause to believe there's evidence of crime in Jeffrey Clark's home. Let the flipping begin. And some people rightfully observed, well, why did it take so long? How could there still be evidence of crime in Jeffrey Clark's home nearly a year and a half after the insurrection? Well, you know what, friends? Guys like Jeffrey Clark, corrupt criminal attorneys, not only commit crimes, but they tend to try to cover up their crimes. And here's the other thing. Electronic footprints never fully wash away. So whatever Jeffrey Clark did 18 months ago, there is probably still electronic evidence of it, but I would bet there is present-day evidence of him continuing to cover up the crimes that he committed for and with Donald Trump back when they were trying to undermine the election's results. So friends, I know that it still feels like justice is taking forever, but if we think about what was revealed today, direct evidence of Donald Trump's criminal intent, Donald Trump's co-conspirators in Congress identified, they outed themselves because they requested pardons for their crimes, and Donald Trump's co-conspirator at the Department of Justice, Jeffrey Clark, is probably well on his way to being criminally charged, and let's hope he decides to plead guilty, enter into a cooperation agreement, and flip on Donald Trump. We're getting there, friends. We're getting there. And justice matters. Please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you soon.